docuseries, The Kings of Tupelo, a Southern crime saga. It's about a small-town feud that escalated into something so big that is now a docuseries. We have filmmakers and brothers Chapman and Maclain Way here to chat all about it. Thank you both so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're excited to talk about this.
Yeah, thanks.
Chapman, let's go ahead and start with you. We start with an Elvis impersonator, and the story just escalates from there. Tell us a little bit about, kind of the genesis of the story.
Yeah, so in 2013, one of our country's preeminent Elvis impersonators, Paul Kevin Curtis, was arrested for sending poisonous letters to President Barack Obama, a U.S. Senator Roger Wicker, and a local judge in Tupelo, Mississippi. It was an assassination attempt on the president. And basically, you rewind the clock and you learn all about what brought Kevin to this moment. And, he was working as a janitor in a hospital in Tupelo, Mississippi, and he finds a severed head in the morgue. And that kind of sets him down this crazy, bizarre conspiracy path that eventually gets him to President Barack Obama at the White House. So it's an absolutely bananas story, a lot of twists and turns, and a lot of jaw-dropping turn of events.
And also, obviously, not to make the comparison to Tiger King, but it's also the people that we get to see, along the way. And in this one, we get to see U.S. senators, the ex-wives, the rivals, other people in the town. Maclain, did it start with one person who was willing to talk, or was this series not going to happen unless we had kind of everybody being able to participate?
It was like a little bit of both, it's like it did take us, we worked on this for about 3 years. So it is a process of, meeting more people, talking to people. It's something that we're proud of. Essentially every single person that we were interested in talking to talked to us in our documentary series. But it was a unique experience. When we first went to Tupelo, Mississippi for our first shoot, it's such a small town. So when you check into your hotel or you take a coffee order, your barista or the person, they ask you, hey, what are you doing in Tupelo, Mississippi? And we would tell them, and I'd almost wince a little bit when I told them, because I was like, we're doing the 2013 presidential assassination story. I didn't know how the citizens would necessarily feel about it, but they were so unbelievably excited, which got us so excited. Like their eyes would get wide. And since it is a small town, they would always say, like, you got to talk to my brother-in-law, Bob. He performed with Kevin at this show. Or you got to talk to my sister. She knew the karate instructor that feuded with Kevin. And so eventually, like, it did feel like we kind of just got to know this whole town. And we spent about 9 total months there. And it was an unbelievable experience for us. So one of the most fun shoots we've ever had.
That is amazing. Chapman, let's talk a little bit about conspiracy theories in general, because obviously they run rampant now. But 1999, kind of when this first started, especially in this town, to kind of take us back to that scenario, which is almost, I can't believe I'm saying, 25, plus years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the story kind of takes a look at kind of like the birth of the internet in the mid-90s and kind of the first like conspiracy chat rooms and internet culture and dark web. And our main character, basically, after he finds this severed head, goes onto this deep dive of black market organ trade and body parts being sold on the black market. And what was interesting for us was we kind of got to go down the rabbit hole with Kevin and his experience and what this journey provided him. But we also got to hear from family and friends and his children and his brother and his wife and how his conspiracy kind of journey affected them. And so, there's a lot of zaniness and wackiness and fun to the story, but there's also some substance to chew on and think about. And I think in a way, this story a little bit was like a little bit of a canary in a coal mine, back in '99 to kind of how, dominant conspiracies would become in our culture today.
And Maclain, let's talk a little bit about, because everyone believes their own truth. So like getting that big picture, talking to as many people as possible, putting everything together. I mean, talk a little bit about that task, because I'm sure it wasn't just an easy task, from A to Z.
We likened it to like it is a rabbit hole, and going down a rabbit hole is an inherently disorienting experience. But that's what twists and turns and kind of feels like you're riding on a roller coaster, and it's hard. We open up this documentary series with a little bit of like this Southern cinematic disclaimer, and it's from Steve Holland, one of our main characters. He quotes William Faulkner, to understand the world, you have got to understand a place like Mississippi. And then he goes on to say, like, we're some of the best storytellers in the world. We like drama, and sometimes we can make stuff up. And that was certainly our experience. You know, we didn't really dedicate a lot of resources necessarily to investigating the truth claims, but this was really an exploration of this story, these people, what they're saying, and we just wanted to kind of immerse audiences as much as we possibly could cinematically into these stories being told. And as filmmakers, that's always what we were.
Yeah, I think like there's like your truth, my truth, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. But this story was like there's his truth, there's her truth, there's this guy's truth, and then there's this person's truth. Like we would get multiple versions of truth, but we quickly learned that's part of the fun of their storytelling. They heightened and embellishments, and that's kind of part of the DNA of the culture down there. And so it was something we embraced in the filmmaking, and I think it makes for a fun viewing experience.
But that's also the thing too, especially with the series. Like you can't just finish one episode; you have to go right into the next one. Like there's no like I can wait till tomorrow. Like no, you have to know right away of like what is happening and watching the story continue.
Yeah, it's like it was always fascinating to us how some of these elements seem so non-connected, but slowly and surely they all kind of start to come together. They all start to make sense. And it was kind of our experience making it was just like, what the hell, did that really happen? Is that really true? What's going on here? So we kind of wanted to recreate that experience for the audience.
And the final thing, real quickly, especially the role of the Elvis impersonator. Obviously, you know, Elvis passed away, you know, probably close to, 50 years ago, but his legacy lives on, and kind of that playing a role in the series.
Yeah, our experience in Tupelo was Elvis reigns large. They don't even say, hey, have you been to the Elvis Presley birthplace? They just say, have you been to the birthplace? It's like to me,
the Holy Land.
It's the Holy Land. There's multiple statues, there's murals, there's sculptures of Elvis. And to me, it so influenced the story we were telling, because only in a place like Tupelo, Mississippi, could a baby be born in this shotgun shack and rise to become one civilization, the king of rock and roll. And I think for our characters, that Elvis lore made them larger than life in a way. It allows you to dream bigger, you know, and so there's something in the water in that town, and I think it draws from the legend that is Elvis Presley, but he's everywhere in that town, and in a really cool and cinematic way.
All right, the new docuseries, The Kings of Tupelo, a Southern crime saga, now streaming on Netflix. Thank you both so much for your time today. Happy holidays.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Rudy.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.